uh, in the purpose of the study, after the purpose of the study, when you have presented the objectives of your study, you should say that you should present that objective or purpose with this format: how, why, what if, and what. With these words, you can present the objectives. These are the same words that can help you to write your research questions as well. So they should be few so that the focus is manageable. If you have got different or many purposes, it is clear that the research is not applicable or practical, or but say manageable. The aims will be related to the purpose and the questions. All right. This is not expected to be extensive for the proposal. To show your super. All right. Then we get to uh, this is still for the significance of the study, to show your supervisor and department that you are aware of significant writers, researchers. No, this is for literature review, all right, or review of the literature. You can write in different formats, in different ways, and also in our department we say normally it's better to write review of the related literature, right? So you have to go through the different literatures or different studies, papers, articles in the field, and try to find those which are related to your study. This section is going to show your supervisor and department that you are aware of the significant writers, researchers in the field. You are aware of that. You have to. You're actually showing the research, the supervisors, and the department that you have studied the other researcher's job or the other researcher's research or studies, in that field which are related to your study, in order to indicate which issues, topics you will focus on in your review. So this is the point that you mention in your review of literature. You should have done the characteristics of this. You should have done an initial survey of the main theories and library information search, CDs, CD-ROMs, etc. to establish your directions and formulate a tentative list of readings, right? So this is the characteristics of, or these are the characteristics of the literature review. And also in the literature review, you show that you can be judicious in your selection of issues to focus on and take an approach of critical inquiry. You will show in the literature review that what are the main theoretical aspects or background information that you are going to work on, and you do a kind of sensible or judicious actually selection of issues. You do not use or you do not include all those papers which are related to your study. No, you select some of them judiciously or wisely. You select some of the papers which are which basically can help you to establish your objective, or show the relation of this research to the previous ones. So you should demonstrate critical analysis. In the literature review, you show that you would be able to, present the information critically. Since you have read all the previous studies in the field, you would be able to criticize them and saying that these are the possible problems of these previous researchers, and now I want to do a new one because of these disadvantages or because of these problems. So you will be able to critically analyze the previous researches. Your review should be shaped by your argument and should seek to establish your theoretical orientation. It should be in line with your theoretical orientation, because you have selected one or two theories which are the basis or foundation of your study, right? So those researches should be in line with those theoretical orientation you have selected. Includes your understandings of the nature of knowledge and how this affects your choice of research approach. Then at the end we get to chapter 3, as I said before, or research design. This research design describes the research plans, right? How you're going to do the study, what is the design of this research, and how the variables are related to each other, and what would be the possible research design in this study. Includes the description and rationale brief for selection of participants, methods of data collection, data analysis, and procedures you will use to ensure ethical practice. Okay, so I've already said that in chapter 3, or as we call it briefly, method or methodology section, or as it is called research design, you not only should talk about the design of the study, but you have to present the participants or subjects of the study. Also, you have to talk about the instrumentations or types of instruments you're going to use for data collection. The instruments like questionnaires or tests and the like. So and more importantly, you have to present the procedures of the study as well. Procedure include procedure of data collection, as you can see here, methods of data collection or procedure of data collection, and procedure of data analysis, as you can see. In the procedure of data collection, you describe one by one or step by step how the data are going to be collected. For example, the teacher goes to the students' class, distributes the questionnaires, or if by based on the nature of the study, it's an experimental one, the researcher enters the class and gives the pretest to the students, and then the researcher or the teacher himself performs the treatment of the study, and at the end of the semester gives the post-test. So these steps should be presented in the procedure of data collection. And in the procedure of data analysis, you should talk about the methods, the statistical methods you use for data analysis, how you're going to analyze the data of the study. For example, the most common form of a statistical package is SPSS. So you would say that, for example, I'll use SPSS for data analysis, or no, I'll use NVivo software or MaxQDA software or AMOS software, for example. So you will present them in data analysis section. And then the time plan and the timetable plan may be part of a research design. This is not a separate section. If in your proposal, you should not present it in a separate section. As it has been written here, it can be part of your research design. How long would it take to finish the research, right? In a period of, for example, 6 months, this study will be going to carry it out. Depicts the tasks proposed and the stages, times for their completion, right? So you will talk about the time plan and the timetable and the plan of your research. Includes a statement about the delimitation, boundaries of the study. Of course, the limitation and delimitation of the study should be presented in the first chapter at the end of the introduction, based on our format, right? As I told you, this is a new form or another format which is being used in the other universities. This may take the form of a chart, timeline, or flowchart, or any other forms. Each chapter's proposed contents is described in a few lines or a small paragraph, or a proposed table of content is presented. Proposed thesis structure describes the focus of each proposed chapter. Again, this is a section which should be presented in your research design, not under a separate subtitle. Significance, expected outcomes of the study. Yes, significance of the study, of course, is presented in the first chapter after the statement of the problem, but expected outcome of the study is a section which is called implication of the study or the expected outcomes of the study, which is presented normally at the end of the research design or methods. And it predicts the significance of the study and expected outcomes. Of course, you do not have any outcome just now, but you should talk about the expected outcomes. These may relate closely to aims. This is only a prediction, right? And may be excluded from the rationale for the study and has been developed earlier in the proposal. And glossary of terms and appendices, right? Lists specialized terms or words and their meanings from another culture, acronyms, key concepts in a relatively new field. This is not normally used in your proposal, and the appendices, as I told you, include some sections at the end after the references. It displays documents which are relevant to main text. For example, if you have used any chart, any any table, any flow chart, any diagram, or if you're going to use, not used, if you're going to use any test or questionnaire, you can include it in appendix, right? Includes documents, pilot study material, documents. For example, if you have done some kind of correspondence with some scholars related to your study, you can bring them here. If you are going to use some kinds of test questionnaire, you should bring them. If you have done a kind of pilot study, you should bring the material over here. Questions for interviews, yes. For example, you are asked several questions from 10 people and it consists of 50 pages, right? It is not necessary to bring it in the main body of your proposal. You should bring it at the end of your thesis. Of course, the answers would become about 50. I gave you the example of 50 because I was thinking about the thesis itself. But here it says that you haven't collected the data, therefore they are just questions for interview. So you can include the question in about 1 or 2 page in the appendix here. And yes, rather than enhance the flow of the argument or writing instruments, explanatory statement to participants, and references. Of course, we say that the appendix should come after the references. And in references, you bring the list of works that have been consulted thus far and appear to be useful. Yes, use referencing conventions recommended by your supervisor. And as I told you, here in this department in Imam Reza International University, we ask the students to use what? To use APA style or APA format in referencing, and this APA format is a kind of format which is much better than the other ones like MLA or Michigan style of writing. So please use APA style. And APA has published a new version of its book, and that is, I think, version 7. I think so. Try to get it. You can get it from internet or the other places, or if not, you can ask me to send it to you. So use APA style in presenting every section of your proposal, especially the references. In referencing, when you're, for example, when you refer to that APA book, American Psychological Association book, you will see that, for example, for giving references, you should bring the name of the writer of that article, and then the date, and then the date should be presented in parentheses. After that, you should bring the name of the book. The name of the book should be italicized, and in articles, the name of the paper should not be italicized, but the name of the journal in which that article has been published should be italicized, and at the end you bring the volume and the number and these things. So